How's it? Are you coming with me today for the Uber Eats shift? What do you say? So it's 6:45, just got out of bed. I leave at 10:45, so I still got another 4 hours before the shift begins. So I'm just going to show you guys what I eat to get enough calories for a big day like this. I like to start the day off with a hot carrot drink. Just a cup of soy milk, 25 grams of sugar and a teaspoon of carrot powder, blended with a stick blender. It's a great substitute for coffee as it doesn't have the caffeine and the theobromine. This is the carrot powder, by the way. This is Rapunzel. So today is a fairly cold day. It's 5 degrees now, but later on it will drop down to 1 degree. So you can see I'm dressed for the occasion. The bike is ready, got all the food there in the decent saddle bag. You can see it holds a bottle too. And got a toothbrush there too for the lunch break. So all set and ready to go. Let's do it. Alright, what I didn't talk about was the working times that I do these days. Since it's winter, I can go out the whole day and I don't have to worry about getting sunburnt. That's the biggest problem that I have in summer when I go out the whole day is sunburn. And I know people will say cover up, wear sunscreen, but both of those options are really bad for me. Sunscreen is usually toxic, so I don't want to use that too much. And sunscreen doesn't cover your lips, so even when you put sunscreen on your lips, you're going to swallow it with the food that you eat. So when it comes to the sun, I just stay away. I go during hours where I don't get sunburnt. That's why during summer I go 5 days of the week and I just do evening shift. So in winter it's 3 days a week and I work 10-hour days. Or I should actually say the cold months, because we're not even in winter yet. Winter officially starts on the 21st of December. For 6 months out of the year it's cold over here, and the UV is low enough so that you don't get sunburned. When the UV is 2 or less, that's when you can just go out the whole day and you don't have to worry about getting cooked. Other people are fortunate to be born with darker skin. I do envy them. I'm unfortunately not one of those people, so I have to be aware of the sun. As for the camera angle, it's still not the best. I did lift the camera up, like my uncle said, but I have to actually sit upright as much as I can while I'm riding for the angle to be the best, so that you can see the entire environment. In total, I've done 3 10-hour days so far, and the best earnings that I've made in 10 hours has been 119 euros, and the worst earnings has been 91 euros. So I would say a typical day is about 100 euros. If I can make that, then that's a successful day, in my opinion. The minimum wage in France is 11.5 euros per hour, so I do make less than that, but I'd rather be doing this than being a full-time employee. This is still significantly better for me than doing that. In addition, you also have to consider the amount of time it takes to ride to get to Colmar and back, which is an extra hour and 45 minutes, so you don't get paid for that. But at least I get to do what I've always loved doing, which is riding a bike. And for me, that means my life is at least somewhat successful. That is a good one. I am taking it. So I was initially going to do a separate video on this topic, but I thought I'd address it in this video as there's a lot of B-roll footage, and it's a lot more interesting looking at this than looking at someone sitting in their room. So the topic is about government being slavery and taxation being theft, and it's about a discussion that I had with a mate of mine, and I said I would address his questions in a video, so here I am. His questions are in relation to a video by Stefan Molyneux that I saw a couple of years ago, back in 2012, and that was what first introduced me to the concept of government being slavery, and that we're a lot like livestock on a farm, being farmed for our resources, for what we can produce. And my mate is asking about how we like livestock and have no real freedom. He continues by saying, I don't feel like that. I feel really privileged, and yes, I have to work and pay taxes, but in the end I have enough money for almost everything I could think of. With no tax money, who pays for streets, schools, infrastructure, police, etc. Everyone is fighting alone against criminals. So let's address these concerns one at a time.
When it comes to being actual livestock, we share similarities with farmed animals, but our situation isn't exactly the same. Farmed animals live in overt slavery, whereas we live in covert slavery. It used to be more overt back in the day, with the slaves being held on the plantation, but now slavery has expanded to include everyone. Back in the day, you'd be beaten if you didn't work, or you'd be punished in some other brutal way. And these days, the difference is if you don't work, you probably end up on the street, you risk starvation, and even death in the most extreme cases. So how are we like livestock? For one, we all have numbers and are being tracked, just as livestock have numbers and are being tracked. And then of course you get injected with multiple toxic concoctions called vaccines that in many cases cause debilitating diseases such as autism in infants. And of course the mainstream narrative is going to say vaccines are fine and that they are necessary to avoid getting sick, but that's not the case at all, based on my personal life experience and the experience of many others. But that's besides the point. When you're a farm animal, you'll definitely be injected with some toxic substance which is designed to manage symptoms rather than removing the deplorable conditions in which disease manifests. But the main way that we are more like livestock than anything else is that we exist to be exploited for what we can provide. We are no more than a unit of production with a serial number. That is how the psychopaths who claim to rule over us view us. And the majority of the product of our labor is extracted from us in the form of taxation, aka extortion. And of course, this is never voluntary. It's done via coercion and the threat of being thrown in a cage and having violence done unto you if you do not comply with the dictates of the ruling class.
So usually, if I don't hear from them within 1 minute of sending a message, there we go. He says Sharif, means I'm coming. If I don't hear from them within 1 minute of sending a message, then I will call. Okay. Ciao, buongiorno. Okay, that one's confirmed. On to the next one. Naima, another 0.8 kilometers. It's actually less. It's a mile for €6. That's very good. I rarely get orders that good.
So regardless of how benevolent the services being provided with that money might seem, it is always immoral when it is taken by force. So those are 3 ways that we are like livestock. There are countless other ways that we share similarities with livestock, but this video, I don't want to make it too long. So I just want to cover the gist of it so that we can address all of the questions that my mate had. So regarding us not having any real freedom, there are many dictates that the psychopaths impose on us called laws that we have to obey, because if we don't, their order following thugs are going to come and harm us in some way or another, either by a fine, throwing us in a cage, or by beating us or shooting at us. I've had multiple bad experiences with the police over many so-called victimless crimes. One time I was riding a motorbike in the street without a license, and it wasn't street legal according to the dictates of these psychopaths. And of course the order followers had no trouble pulling me off to the side of the road and giving me a hard time, threatening to throw me in a cage. And luckily at that time I was only 17 years old, and my dad came to convince them otherwise. At least the ones in South Africa aren't total order following robots, so you can speak a little bit of sense with them, and I managed to get out of that situation. It's actually funny because my dad told me at that time that I must just take my motorbike and ride into the trail and ditch the cops, which looking back was actually the best idea. Fuck, I don't even know why I stopped. I guess I was just more afraid of the consequences of not stopping. But looking back, I would have totally just gone and fucking done it. Hit the trail and said goodbye. See you later, you shit cunts. Another encounter that I had was when I was having sex in the backseat of a car, and it was out in a public area, and there was no one around. It was dark. No one could see anything. As luck would have it, the cops came from behind with their headlights glaring, and they had a little bit of a show. But they weren't there for the show, they were there to harass and potentially collect. They always say the police are there to serve and protect, but it's more like harass and collect. So in this case, I just went along with what the cops wanted, played the submissive role, told them what they wanted to hear so they could feel important and feel like they have some sense of authority. And then eventually they just asked where I live. And then when they found out that I live in a decent neighborhood, then that was enough for some reason for them to let me go. And then another time I was on my time trial bike and I skipped a red light. There weren't any cars coming. It was clearly safe to go. And what I didn't see was that there was a cop on a motorbike. And this guy just wouldn't leave me alone. He wanted me to submit and I didn't feel like submitting that day. So he was trying to run me off the road all the time. And it's always rules for thee, but not for me. So I break one rule of the road and he breaks fucking 10 by just being reckless and accelerating and then braking suddenly, actually putting my health at risk. Whereas what I did, no one was in fucking danger at all. Typical cop behavior, left brain imbalance, feeling the need to dominate, having a massive ego. They're so predictable that it's laughable and their masters think that they're a joke. They call them their pets and their dogs because that's what they are. You give them the order and they carry it out no matter what. They'll kill their own mother if they got paid for it. Anyway, I'm diverging from the story. So what ended up happening is I stopped. He called two of his backup order followers. Obviously one guy that's 100 kilos is not enough to stop a skinny cyclist that weighs 60 kilos. It's no threat to anyone at all. And then I called my dad since I was close to the house. And I said, Dad, the fucking cops are giving me a hard time. Please come help me out. And of course my dad did. And as you can imagine, the cops were very upset and offended that I called them the fucking cops. But that's how I felt in the moment and I wasn't holding myself back. Luckily, my dad came and he calmed the situation down, talked some sense into these motherfuckers and they let me go. I was lucky that time. And then in more recent years, there was the experience that I had here in France during those crazy COVID scamdemic times when people weren't allowed out of their house without a document saying that you are permitted to go to the shop 1 kilometer to buy your stuff and you can only go out for an hour. It was such bullshit and I knew it was bullshit from the very beginning because I understood that viruses didn't make us sick. It had everything to do with our lifestyle choices. So, of course, I was just running outside, shirtless, not bothering anyone. But I think I was also looking for trouble that day by running past the police station. I should have gone somewhere else, but I wanted to set a 5k PR on my favorite lap. That was more important to me. And then, as luck would have it again, there was an order follower patrolling, and I just waved to them when they motioned at me to stop, pretending that I didn't know what they were on about. And then they started driving extremely aggressively, fucking tires screeching, accelerating their car, and fucking trying to run me off the road nearly. So insane. So this was in France, and I think even if I could speak French properly, I wouldn't have been able to get myself out of that situation.
And we've got another good order for the cozy. Gonna accept that one. 2.2k for 455. Let's do it.
So that one cost me 135 euros, and all because the state imposed new laws upon its citizens and the order following jackasses decided to follow it no matter what. So with regards to roads and infrastructure and things like that, these things could easily be made possible by local communities, and people should have the option to contribute to that or not, because it is absolutely a right to refuse a service. Think about it. If someone knocked on your door and said, I am cleaning your windows and you will pay me a quarter of your income for the year, and if you don't, I'm going to beat you up or I'm going to throw you in a cage, you would consider that person a fucking psychopath, and that's exactly what government does. If one person does not possess a right to force services upon another person, then you cannot delegate that right to someone else or a group of people called government. Besides that, these political parasites are taking most of this money for their fat paycheck.
Straight into the headwind, but Yes, 15k an hour at 400 watts.
And pumping billions of euros into the meat medical military complex, the Triple M. And it's true, some people have enough money that they don't have to worry about money, but that's not the overwhelming majority of the population. Most people are working for minimum wage and they're struggling just to get by.
The cozy, bro. Ons gaan bietjie na die cozy toe.
Myself included. I mean, I'm earning below minimum wage, but luckily I've got a couple of life hacks and I know how to make do with a small amount of money.
Nope, not taking that one. Wait, there's a check. Merci. Okay.
So this order was quite a heavy one. I got 2 orders. As you can see, 2 fairly big sized bags of food there. And this was the first stop, going to the next stop after this at the Monoprix to get the groceries. And you'll see now that Uber bag gets filled right up. It probably weighs about 15 kilos after it's filled up to the brim.
J'essaie. Yeah, this order is definitely no joke. Weighs about 15 kilos and the bag is stuffed to the brim.
So this is just wonderful. I've done about 7 hours, gonna have to call it a night. I had a flat tire and I was riding with a flat tire because I don't have any tubes or patches or anything like that to fix it. And as you can see, the tube got caught in the cassette somehow, and I'm gonna have to take the wheel out now and undo that tube somehow and ride home at 10 kilometers per hour. So it's been a long day. Enough to have someone stop and help me out. They put my bike in their car and drove me to the nearest train station. I'm still about 15 kilometers from home. The wind's a little bit strong there. So instead of walking home tonight, I can take the train. The reason why I say walking is because this tire keeps coming off of the rim because it's not very tight. So I had to get off and walk. Usually I can ride a bike with a flat tire, but in this case, no. Beloved wife was nice enough to get a potato soup ready for me on my return, upon my return. Do you feel like a beloved wife?
Of course.
Okay, thank you, beloved wife. Statistics for the day, 68.46 for 18 trips. So a little bit under 10 euros per hour, as it was 7 hours out there. Not the best earnings ever, but also not the worst. Also no tips today, so that is quite rough. I forgot to record the ride today, but these are the typical stats that I get for a 10-hour ride out there. This was from a 10-hour shift that I did on another day. And then of course a video like this wouldn't be complete without the chronometer stats. 16% of calories from fat, which you can't see in this photo. But that was quite an interesting day. Didn't quite go as I expected it to. And as a result, I've got my 2 pick-me-ups here. Got my carrot drink. Carrot's looking good. And, well, actually 3, because now I've got the animals here. That helps. And a warm bath is always nice after riding out there in the cold for so many hours. And yeah, one thing I want to talk about too is this. You say Marche de Noël.
Le marché de Noël.
Marché de Noël, which means the Christmas market. You know, Machana. There were so many fucking people out there today. It's just crazy. The Christmas market has just taken over the town. And it's like a month and a half before Christmas and people are just going crazy. They've got this hysteria for some stupid fucking celebration. And as a result, you just can't get through that town. What do you say?
I don't know, people look like they have a lot of fun and it's 1 month in advance.
It's fun for them, but for me, they're cutting my onions, John. Making me late for every order. Yes. No, but I can just take a detour around and not go through there. That's it. That's the end of this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I won't see you for another Uber Eats video anytime soon.